Hey Journey Indiana, this is Payton Whaley, host of Flyover Culture, your guided tour to pop culture in the Midwest. I'm here with a special preview of our all-new season, which begins this February, only on the Flyover Culture YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy it. I wanted to start season 3 off with a bang, and I thought, what better way to do that than with the game studio that has been dominating your house parties for the past decade. Jackbox Games, headquartered here in a very cold Chicago, pumps out a new party pack of 5 games every single year. It's easy to see the appeal. Games like Quiplash and Fibbage and Trivia Murder Party have players use their smartphones to answer prompts, draw, and just basically try and make each other laugh. But what people might not know is that each of these games takes months, if not years, of work and iteration to get things just right. So that's what I'm here to try and figure out. How does a game go from pitch to party pack? Jackbox Games was founded in 1989 to create educational films and trivia for schools, but they really hit their stride with the first You Don't Know Jack trivia game for CD-ROM in 1995. That led to a whole mess of sequels, spin-offs, an ABC game show with Paul Rubens, you know, what usually comes after success. The You Don't Know Jack series kept the studio going for a while, but as the studio was running out of steam in the early 2010s, they made a gamble with something new: party games you play with your smartphone. That led to the very first edition of Fibbage, a trivia game where you trick your friends with outlandish answers to even more outlandish questions. Jackbox put out their first party pack in 2014, bundling Fibbage with 4 other games. Since then, the studio has put out a new 5-game pack every year, with Party Pack 9 releasing in October of last year. 5 games a year is no small feat, which got me wondering how these things get made. I was lucky enough to talk with some of the team behind Roomerang, one of my favorites from Party Pack 9.
Roomerang is a reality TV show inspired experience. We wanted you to come in and feel like you're entering some sort of wild Big Brother style house, and you are coming in as a persona. The really fun part, which I love, is you vote people out. But because it's Jackbox and we want it to be a fun party game inclusive experience for everyone, when you get voted out, you just lose some points to those people, but then Roomerang is the idea that you're getting like tossed out and then boomeranged back into the house. You say a goodbye speech and then you come right back in as a brand new player that everyone has to deal with you then.
There's something a little familiar about you, but you've got a new name and different information about yourself, so what do I know?
Roomerang was pitched by developer Alex Wyke for Party Pack 8, but Alex Brooke and editorial lead Tim Sniffen revisited it for Party Pack 9. Like a lot of Jackbox projects, it starts with a rough prototype.
Some games are just pitched in a paper test, which we say is like when we were in office a lot more, it was like pieces of paper being actually tossed around. Answer this, like fill out this, here's your points. Now we find ways to do it digitally as well. So it's like we're on like a jam board, on like some sort of shared space to like show the moving pieces.
As the game's core idea comes together and the kinks slowly get worked out, the game's team gets assembled. That means folks like Farhan, who make sure the game, functions.
They were like, we need somebody who can speak to computers. And I'm like, hey, that's me. And then I came in and kind of did my little computer science magic. And it just so happened that I'm a reality TV fan. I think Roomerang specifically, I'm like, nope, I'm working on this one because it's reality TV. Thank you very much. Part of one of my responsibilities is sort of giving that advice on what will work in a digital space. Like how, if we take this translation, is this gonna work digitally? It works on paper, but how is this gonna work in the actual computer land? When there's an established game flow, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of insert myself and say, hey, this is possible, this is impossible, this is possible, and let's kind of come back together and come up with a final design.
As the team continues to play test and figure out what exactly is possible, artists come in and give the games that distinct Jackbox look. Here, that was art lead Hector M. Padilla.
Cubism was always in the vision because I wanted to have art that walked the line of realism and fantasy, and I feel like Cubism was a good way to portray that. It takes a lot of research, it takes a lot of pre-production work, a lot of sketching, a lot of, when you have limitations like that, it allows you to be more experimental and just explore a lot more. Surprisingly, I haven't had too much trouble not replicating something that I've done before while also making a game feel like it's mine.
All these tweaks and additions take months to implement, which you can see pretty clearly on Inside the Box, a stream series the Rumerang team put out over the course of the game's development last year.
The camera finds you in tears on the patio. Who is to blame, and what did they do?
And that all leads to the final release, when players get their own chance to start drama with friends.
I know reality TV as a concept can be very divisive, and people either love it, hate it, indifferent. I think watching people grasp onto it and then go for the ride of it, especially the first time, like watching people play it the first time is the greatest joy, because they get so upset and so worried when they have to eliminate somebody, and then as soon as they come right back, they're like, oh, they're just coming back? Like, this is like, why were we upset? Like, goodbye, Sharon. Like, why were we so concerned?
Now that Party Pack 9 is in the wild, the team is on to the next project, although they couldn't tell me what that is. But if it's coming from the Jackbox team, you know it won't be like anything else you play.
Video games was not anything that I thought I would be working in. I come from a comedy, like working in a professional comedy in Chicago for years. So I think because of that, and we have a lot of cool artists and comedians and engineers like all at the company, that like the shared vision that the people at the company collectively have is really the heart of what we do and what we make. And I just feel very fortunate to be a part of it.
Me and my friends, we used to get together, and even though we would talk about whatever, we always had video games in our hands, like just something to do with your fingers, right? It's just like a good way to bring everybody together and just have a good time in the room, which there's not many games that do that still, and I like that we can contribute to that community because it means the world to me, so.